Well, hello, friends of Pirate Chain, friends of Bitcoin, crypto, friends of Komodo platform, enemies, all kinds of enemies, and evil doers. Yeah, you're all welcome here. Just keep it cool, keep it calm, and carry on, as the saying goes. Yes, it's June 19th, 2021. Giuliano here. And it feels like it's been a while, I must say. Well, before moving on to the price charts of Pirate Chain against USDT, against BTC, and in fact, before moving on, we'll look at BTC USD. I would like to say though, before this pirate woman light gray, it's a good opportunity to gift to your loved ones, and it just feels good to see it being worn in the world. Pirate apparel. So friends of fashion, this is not fashion advice. It's not financial advice either. Check out for a coupon code in the description. Get it for your spouse, get it for your neighbor, get it for your child, get it for your child's teacher, and just spread the message of pirate through the apparel. It's a good way to connect out into the world, I've noticed. I know what I'm going to be wearing when BTC is hitting the 100K day, but that's another story. I can't vouch for this yet, but I could definitely vouch for the pirate woman light gray. Anyhow, moving on to our price charts, friends. What are we looking at here? It does feel like it's been a while. We're in the 4 digits, 9,000 for the BTC price of R. We're in the $3 region for the USDT price of R. Taking a closer look into the Bitcoin USD chart, taking data from the Bitstamp using getaurox terminal. Here we go. What are we looking at here? Just keep breathing, friends, right? Just keep breathing. Here it is. So indeed, we were watching it about this box region here back in the June 14th timeframe. Came up here, which confluences with the Bollinger Band top rejection of resistance there, and all the way back down, quickly breaking through this 20-day moving average. Now we're on the lower end of that. Looks like we are staying sideways action for the near term. On a daily level, this $33,000 low is the key support low. Let's move this sucker down here. On the upper end, what we can do is provide just an upper region, and now we can start to see the zones where we get bullish and the zones where we get more bearish in terms of up and down movements. Bullish is above here, bearish is below here. We have, in terms of the ease, it's easier to get down here than it is to get up in here at this point. So let's see what happens. Now, here vertically is our July beginning time frame. Okay, so on a daily level, we've got this, basically this squarish region right here that we are looking at to hold our price, because that's going to affect what's happening with the alts and the rest of, and also there's also movement in the dollar itself, the US dollar, in its markets. So these are factors that play in. All right, so just pay attention to whatever it is that you pay attention to, but really this is for friends of Pirate Chain if you're looking to grab yourself up. some more of that pirate. Again, none of this is advice in any way. It's really just we're watching what's happening. So on a daily level here, we are getting potential for turning over to negative momentum in this MACD situation. All right, and that's fair, and that's on a daily level, and that could take us here all the way to this July level where we're just figuring out what's next, right? And then July will give us more clarity in our direction, and maybe July is a month of turmoil and dumping. Maybe it's just a month of continued channeling. What we can do from here, let's just look a little bit more short term, and we see, yes, there is resistance here, Ichimoku. Let's see if we can play with it and break it. Likelihood is less though. It seems as if, well, you know, to say that is not quite true, because, you know, if we look at these, again, lagging indicators, it looks like we could regain some positive momentum here for a short bit. On a 4-hour level would last maybe 2-3 days, you know, let's say. We're Saturday today, nearing the end of day UTC time. So into Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, maybe no problem. Maybe it's a bit side. Maybe it's into the green Ichimoku cloud here and up into this 20-period average, up around $37,000 level. Very, very possible. And then we'll see where that leads us. Maybe further breakdown. That seems to be the bias. However, because yeah, when we go back to that daily chart, you see that we have this resistance region here. So even if we get up to this 40,000 level, I mean, that would be wonderful. Get up there and then find support at the 38,000 level. That would be key. But just on that daily chart, it did not appear. Well, in fact, yeah, anything's possible here. You know, like I said, making it up here to this 40,000 level, why not? And then coming back to the 37,000, which would confluence with the 20-day average. I mean, why not? This is also a possibility. However, being below it as we are currently, having been rejected up here, now looking for a narrowing of the band, that would be ideal, but then potentially narrowing for a move to the downside. Yeah. Mentally preparing can be helpful. We have then the low of the low that we're going to look for as majorest of supports. And so we're going to find a deep red colored support here at this 30,000 level on a closing time frame, okay, for a daily level. Previously support back here during the early January time. Not early January, it was like early time of the year, which was in January. This was towards the end of January. And there you go. So that's where we're looking for it to majorly support if there is going to be that move down to this region. You know, if there's going to be below, I should say, below this intermediate low right here compared to this lower low. So this low here is a big low that we want to look to hold, but expect that it might not hold. And not holding, let's really look at this 30,000 as a closing level of lows, and then onward and upward through the next rebuilding phase, which would take us probably into August and then September and maybe even October to November, depending on what's happening. Now, if we were to take that out a bit to a weekly time frame, we can see things are just building. Things are just building. We are nicely below the 20-period average, quite away. Look, it's interesting. The Bollinger Band right now is confluencing with the low here. Now, a close on the weekly, though, we would like to keep our weekly closes above the $33,000 level. Ideally, you know, above the 32.5, right? That would be nice. Even if a daily close is lower, whatever. Yeah, because at that point, if we're getting below here, then really you can expect us to break down and break through this cloud right here. Okay, so that definitely on the table. If the big players are playing that game, it can definitely happen because the sentiment is down. the participation is down from a certain population, a certain demographic. We're still in negative momentum, haven't really cleared this out on a lagging time frame here. That is also a weekly time frame, so who knows how far the RSI needs to go down. But definitely the MACD is showing that there's room for the momentum to clear out on the negative side. So yeah, does that mean we're going below this kind of regression line here that was taken from, let's see here, taken from this uptrend, confluencing with the resistance of this uptrend, broken above it, okay? It was support for the uptrend beginning here, and then here there was an interesting break of it, and then it became the resistance. Finally, that was a break below, okay, back in March of 2020, and then the break above, which happened in November of 2020. All right, so there you go. Let's see how we interact with it, but at some point we are coming to interact with it. If we're interacting with it sooner, it's going to be at lower levels, okay? So yeah, we're going to pay close attention to what's happening. And then if we're interacting with it later in the fall, then that seems more healthy for the continued upward movement. And if we could find actually a support on it, that would be ideal. That would be wonderful. Okay, awesome. So that's that. That's the basic idea for the BTC. It's still so early in the weekly time frame to really the structure here has not played itself out, it seems. Yeah, it needs at least a few more weeks, let's say another month, to really find its way. Okay, cool. So let's move on then. Thanks for being patient here. I didn't realize that the BTC USD talk would take such a turn. Now, what do you want? You want the USDT first, or you want the BTC? I think let's get to the BTC. So what we're looking at here, we have made our way below our preferred rectangle. Okay. It's an interesting pause candle. It's a green one right now. We still have 2 hours left roughly in the day, so who knows where that will turn. Yes, so it is a pause candle. We are close enough to the lower end of the Bollinger Band that it feels like this Bollinger Band will be tested. This Bollinger Band will be tested, maybe just as a bounce, but the other point is maybe not. Maybe this is the turn of this downtrend move, and we are ready for the next little bit of a turn up to try and find some next resistance. Okay, so that's basically where it is. Just be ready that this is a daily chart of our BTC. The RSI definitely can lose that height, and it can dip down further. And on the MACD, it can also continue with some negative momentum here for the next number of days. But after that, actually, it looks like there would be some turning upward. However, there are times when with these suckers, you know, you might get a down and then maybe even a bigger down. But usually it's more like you get a down, which is low, and then maybe you get a higher low down. So it's still down and it's still lower, but it's a higher low. So now this seems to be a bit elongated based on let's say the momentum, because previously here was so strong and so high, this double here is clearing this, and then look, we had a little pop up, and now finding another length of negative momentum will give room for an energy for some positive momentum that's more significant than this, or as significant as this. It might take a lot more negative momentum just to provide the energy that will allow for this positive momentum. So let's see what happens into mid-July. Actually looking at some time frames, so we can go there. I was looking at that on the our USDT chart, looking at some time frames, we can start to see what are some of those viable time frames, yeah, that we might see movement. So yeah, really though, in terms of picking up, if you're using the BTC to do it and you're playing the ARRR BTC ratio, you know, these levels are good levels, and then making sure you don't use all of your powder, let's say. However, if you continue to earn forms of income, and then you want to be putting that towards your pirate, your ARRR, then this is great. You can set yourself some levels. Let's say, you know, you're here now, maybe you scoop, but if you're really trying to be conservative and patient, you look for, really, you can start looking for levels around the 6,000 to 7,000 Satoshi level, but even beyond that, like down at the 4,000, even 3,000 Satoshi level. All right, that's being very conservative and or very greedy, and also maybe very patient. Definitely not saying that I think it's coming down here anytime soon. However, again, with volatility and when you're playing with BTC, what looks like it could be a support level might not hold in the longer term. And one thing that I noticed was, you know, we've got these supports and resistances here. Okay, by the way, you're watching maybe 1.5, 1.75x speed. Thanks for liking the videos. Let's get that ratio, like nice 10% like to view ratio. That feels good. Okay, and yeah, so basically we've got, and if you got comments, please share. We've got a, whoops, 1, 2, 2. So now 3. It wins the third time that it's being tested. That's when it broke down. I mean, yes, it kind of broke down here, right? But you see now that we're really trending lower. We've got, on a daily level, we've got this price turnaround around the 7,800 Satoshis. And if we look on the candles, we do have some wicking action leading down to that level as well, around 8,000 Satoshis. So don't be surprised if it dips down. Whoops, it's just what I'm saying. But also don't be surprised if this is a strong support and then we make our way back up. Okay, at least for the intermediate term, you know, might be a backup and then further back down, making a lower low. That's just where we're at right now, seems. All right. Again, it is really about what are the other markets going to do. Unfortunately, right now, these are not. There's just, it's a whole confluence of factors, right? Sentiment is a huge deal, and yeah. So there you are. Interesting times. All right. I hope that you're doing well. You know, staying focused on things that matter and that add value to your life and feed your spirit, you know. Yeah, so what's going on here? We're waiting for this chart to load. We're looking for the 4-hour ARRR BTC chart. For some reason, it's taking a while. So bear with me. Thank you for being here. Let's just get out of there for now. Maybe it doesn't want to cooperate. Let's see where you are. So this was the time that I was talking about before, but yeah, you can see how it's not loading properly. Okay, getaurox, come on now. Yeah, so this 5, so what we did was, remember the beginning of the move back in April 3rd timeframe, and then the top of the move April 23rd timeframe, and then so the 1618 to that distance is around the 5th of May. Okay, fine. The one whole unit of distance was to the 13th of May here. Cool. Then Another distance of unit was to the 2nd of June here. Cool. So a fourth unit will be in between the 3rd and the 5th, which is around, this time frame, next few days. But here we have the 5th. Okay, we're looking at Fibonacci numbers, right? So 2, 3, 5, 8. So the 5th is 12th of July timeframe. So consider about 12th of July timeframe for potential dumpage or up movement time frame. Yeah, not sure why these charts are not loading properly, but I guess that's the Fibonacci time idea that I was working with earlier. Let's see. Yeah. All right, friends. Well, it looks like that's all that wants to be talked about right now. I think these charts are a little shy. So unfortunately, we're going to just leave it at that. I think the same idea. Well, let's see. Friends, I thank you for being here. And I'm going to leave it at that. That's it. I have nothing that I can give you right now, except for a blank screen. I hope you're staying well. I will come back to you with more ideas. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy. Bye for now.